Hey guys, I got a couple of projects that I've been wanting to work on that I need some serious heat. So I want to use the Rosebud, which is the heating attachment for my oxyacetylene torch. And, well, the first problem I had was I was out of acetylene gas. Actually, the first problem was I was out of oxygen. So I got oxygen. Then I got acetylene. Then when I thought I was all set to go, this regulator, which is the oxygen regulator, started acting real weird. I mean, it was doing some stuff that was kind of scary. It was displaying the proper pressure in the tank from what I could tell, but the problem was on the output side. When I was trying to adjust it, the needle was kind of like jumping around. The needle was kind of jumping around and it was making some clicking noises. And at one point, the pressure started going way too high. And then when I backed off this screw all the way, which is supposed to be off, it was showing 0 on the gauge here, but I could still hear gas coming out. And it was coming out somewhere. I think it may have been coming out of these little holes right here. I think, if I were to guess, I think the diaphragm in here went bad. It's probably got a hole or a crack in it. The only way to find out is to take it apart. I want to preface this video by saying that this is not an instructional video on how to rebuild one of these. I am going to probably rebuild this one, and if you dare to rebuild your own regulator, you do so at your own risk. This is for entertainment purposes only. I can't stress that enough. I called around to the 3 closest gas suppliers that I have in my area, Air Gas and 2 others, and inquired about a regulator kit. And although they do show some of the regulator kits on Air Gas's website, the stores do not stock them. All 3 welding supply outfits, even though they were 3 different companies, all said the same thing. We don't stock them. We send the regulators out to be repaired. So they basically are saying, we're not going to repair the regulator for you. We're not going to sell you the parts to repair the regulator. The best we can do is bring us your regulator. We'll send it out. We'll have a professional company repair it. They'll send it back to us. We'll put a markup on the cost of having that done. And you'll get your regulator back. Oh, in case you're wondering, why do you want to rebuild one of these? Well, for one thing, a good quality regulator like this Victor here, with a full solid brass body like this, is not cheap. You're probably looking at over $200 for a new one. So I'm not sure how much they charge for rebuilding them. The problem with rebuilding them that I encountered was that first place I asked, which was Air Gas, said, well, I said, what's the turnaround time? And he said, well, it was about a week. That was before all this COVID stuff. He said, now it's 2 to 3 weeks. I was like, wow. Called the second place. He said the same exact thing. And then when I called the third place, he said, about 7 to 10 days. But I kind of think it might end up turning into longer than that. So, needless to say, I really don't want to wait that long for this thing to be fixed. Not to mention, it's not like I can get this there instantly. They're not right next door in the next town over. So I probably wouldn't get this thing to them until beginning of next week, and then it's going to have to go out and be gone for 3 weeks. Before you know it, we're going to be into mid-September before I can get back to this. So what I want to do is I want to open this up and see if I can see clearly what's going on inside this thing. And then, in case you're wondering about the model number, this is clearly marked, stamped into the body. This is a C as in Charlie, S as in Sierra, R as in Romeo, 250C. I went online and I found out that the C is not, I don't think, critical. The prefix C is not critical. I think the SR is the series, the SR250 is the series or something like that. And the C suffix is also not critical when it comes to the kit. That the kit that comes with the diaphragm apparently fits several models. So we'll get to that when I start looking that up. But let's see whether or not that's even the case. So the first thing I need to do is I need to open this up, which if this was still mounted on the tank, it would probably be pretty easy to do, because I basically have to turn this big giant nut right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find something to hold this really well, and I'm going to get a big giant adjustable wrench on this thing. This dimension right here is a little odd. I wouldn't think it would be metric, but I guess it could be. So I'm just going to use a big adjustable wrench on this, and an even bigger adjustable wrench on this. That wasn't very tight at all. I guess I'll take this out anyway. Might as well take this out now. So we got like a nylon bushing or something there. Oh, well, it looks like we got some corrosion in there. Some garbage. We got this little disc shaped thing right here, which has a dimple that this rides on. And we got this large spring. And this is where the rubber hits the road, the diaphragm, so to speak. This is some sort of a washer or gasket. This does not want to come off. Would have thought this would have pulled right out. Yeah, stuck in there, that's all. Okay, not a lot to see here. That looks all good and clean inside there. So I'm going to look to see if I can see any holes in this diaphragm. I'm holding it up to the light while I bend it and manipulate it, and I don't see a hell of a lot going on here. It seems okay. It doesn't seem to be dry rotted or cracked. The only other moving parts to this are right in here. So I've got to get a proper sized socket on that to remove that nut, or this seat, valve seat I think is what it's called. Alright, that's 5/8, so that's pretty standard. Well, this is interesting. Alright, so what I think the problem is I think right there, I don't think that little gap's supposed to be there. I think that's actually a split. First I thought maybe that was like, it's almost like a, it snaps into a groove, so that's why that's going to be separated like that, but then I realized no, that just comes right out. So I think that's the problem. And that kind of makes sense to me because, down inside here is the valve seat. Kind of hard to see. But with that crack being in there, gas can escape through that little crack. So I think that's the culprit. And then I think I also read somewhere that there's a seal right here where this pin goes through. Or maybe not. Then we get a spring. And we see this doohickey right here? Yeah, so like I don't know if that's supposed to come apart. It almost looks like it might be able to come apart. This little wheel right here unscrews maybe and allows that pin, which is probably stainless steel, to be removed, but there's some sort of a seal at the top there, it appears, and I think that's also the thing that wears on these. But that doesn't really matter because I'm pretty sure that comes in all those little pieces right there come in the kit with the diaphragm. So I'm just gonna find out which kit fits this valve. Alright, so I found the kit that is the proper part number for this particular regulator, and the interesting thing was in the photograph I could clearly see that this little washer or whatever it is has a split in it by design. So much for that theory. So that made me wonder, well, since everything else looks fine, other than there just being some spider nests and stuff in here that I cleaned out, and you know, any of this this little bit of stuff that was in here, there's plenty of these holes that were open. So the fact that just one of them was blocked, I don't think that would account for the problem. Those holes are there to allow atmospheric pressure to reach the other side of the diaphragm. So that leads me back to this. So I just grabbed this with a rag and a pair of pliers. I still managed to somehow scratch that. But just because out of curiosity, I wanted to open this up. And yeah, this does unscrew. It almost seems like a waxy type of seal that's in there. Either that or whatever that seal is made out of has deteriorated tremendously. Maybe the problem is that this is stuck in there. Maybe this is supposed to move in and out, which is what I would have expected. Why have these two pieces be separate pieces and of different types of metal? If you didn't need these pieces to move independently of each other, why make this way? But I mean, I can't... Oh, I see. That unscrews. Well, that's interesting. I could see looking at this in the magnification that seal, which appears to be like Viton or rubber or something, is all torn up. I feel pretty confident that this is bad, and since it's the only thing I could find really that appears outwardly bad in the system, I'm gonna go with that assumption, and I'm gonna order this kit. So the kit that I found online on Amazon is a Victor 0790-0048 repair kit, SR250. So remember, this is a CR250C. But I did find somewhere else that when I ran that number and looked, that it explained that I believe that this kit is the correct kit for this this valve, even though this has a C on the prefix. Oh, here's where I found that info. So this is that the kit 0790-0048, and this particular website, in case you wonder what the name of it is Regulator and Torch Exchange Inc. And that's their website name is regulatortorchrepair.com. And this kit, they're the ones who explain what it'll fit, and it goes on down here. Remember, it says it's for the SR250, but down here it says the CSR regulator is the same as the SR, but has color-coded gauge faces. So I've got the green faces for oxygen. And then it says that the ABCDE after a Victor model number refers to the delivery pressure of the regulator. And it goes on to explain that. So mine is, I think I said mine was a C, right? So they're basically saying C is 80 psi. Oh, what did I say? Yeah. So the delivery pressure of the gauge is 80 psi. which actually there's a 100 psi gauge on here now, but maybe they're just talking about max pressure. So I feel confident this is the correct kit. So now it's just a matter of finding someplace I can get it fairly quickly. Alright, well, I found it on Amazon, the kit, for 20 bucks. So I couldn't find it any place quicker than, that would ship it quicker than this place, which is, it's due in Tuesday, August 25th, which is this coming Tuesday. Today's Wednesday the 19th, so we'll see how good that works out. Well, can't do anything else until that comes in. Well, guys, through the magic of video editing, what actually took a few days will seem instantaneous to you guys. And my Amazon Prime shipment of my kit came in. So I ended up buying this. This wasn't the absolute cheapest one I think I found online, but it was one of the quicker ones. Today's Saturday, so not bad at all. And actually this was not due in until next Tuesday, but it showed up today. And this is was $25 and then $1.56 tax. So $26.56 was the total cost of this kit. And again, this is a Victor, genuine Victor part, 079000-0048 repair kit for the SR250, each. And it looks like all that is inside the repair kit is this little assembly, that little nylon or whatever plastic doohickey, which has the split in it. Like I suspected, it's from the photograph. I was wrong in thinking that that was a problem, that was split. And the diaphragm. So, oh, okay, good. So it does come with this new. I was worried that this wasn't going to be in there. This appears to be the washer that creates the seal when you put this back in. The only other parts in the bag besides the new diaphragm are this, which apparently is an assembly, and I could see that the seal on this looks a lot better than what is left in there, so hopefully we're heading in the right direction. But then there's this little split washer, does not come installed on here. Oh, I see. And the reason for that is because they intend for you to reuse this spring. And actually there's a almost like a seat there. So I'm going to remove that little split washer, remove that little cup, remove the spring, put that aside, take the new piece, install the spring, install the little cup, install the new split washer. So just going to sit that in there like that. Install this new, well, not new, install this locking nut. Now I don't know if there are any torque specifications for this. Hopefully just good and tight is good enough. Alright, so now unfortunately the kit didn't come with a new gasket for this assembly, which is interesting. I wonder why they didn't do that. So those of you who may not recall, the way this goes together is this disc right here with the dimple faces down. This has to go in here. Okay. The diaphragm, all right, it's pretty clear which way the diaphragm went in, because on my old diaphragm there's corrosion on this side and it's clean as a whistle on this side, and it's only got a little tiny mark on the center of this disc, and that's from this pinpoint right here. All right, so I know that the diaphragm has to go in like this. Now the trick is the diaphragm sits in this area right here behind this little raised ridge. So if I try and throw the diaphragm in this way, you see how it can move around in there? I'm going to almost have no chance of getting this to line up and not run the risk of pinching the edge of this diaphragm. So I need to place the diaphragm in position on this side. Now the problem becomes that, of course, when I go to tip this over and screw this on, this spring's going to want to fall out. So I guess I need to sit this on top of here, like so. Now the problem becomes that this little gasket that I'm reusing wants to fall out if I tip this over. So I guess I'm going to have to just place this on here, and hopefully it will stay in position, and then I can just lower this down over the top. Alright, so I wasn't crazy about the way that felt. Let me back this out and see if everything looks like it's still in position. Yeah, I guess it's okay. Alright, let me go get my Gigunda adjustable wrench again here so I can tighten this on. Alright. Well, hopefully no leaks. So I'm going to head out, place this on my oxygen tank, and I'm going to get some Snoop Leak, that bubbly stuff for finding leaks, and check for leaks and check the operation of this regulator. Leak right there already. That's better. Double check one more time where it was leaking. Looks good. Alright, so it's already an improvement over what I had going, which was this backed all the way off. I was continuing to hear gas flow, oxygen leaking out somewhere. I think it was actually coming out of these holes. I think it was getting past that diaphragm, even though that diaphragm I took out didn't look like it was bad. Now if I turn the regulator in, there we go. Alright, let me hook my line up, see if I can't set pressure. That's about 18 right there. Yep, I like it. Seems to be working okay. So it looks like I can go back to using my rosebud heating torch. All right, so that's going to conclude this video. Again, I probably just got real lucky here. I am not a certified regulator repair technician. I would strongly suggest that